Good morning. As we are done with the three chapters from the grammar and three chapters from the heritage of words, today we are back with the heritage of words and we will complete the next second unit from heritage of words and we'll get back into the grammar again. So in the heritage of words, our second unit concerns the ecology and change. Now here, what is the issue of ecology? The issue of ecology is that we human beings are not in favor with the natural mode of life. That is, we are not living the mode of life in accordance to the nature. Rather, we are being more artificial. We have become a cyborg rather than a natural living being. We are these days a combination of machine and a natural man. If my heart fails, I'll have a pacemaker in my heart, right? So these days we are not natural. Now the machine is inside me. I am half machine and half man. So that is called a cyborg. Now in these days of cyborg, the ecology is one of the most prominent issue. So in this unit, we are looking into the ecological issues, the perspectives of ecology. And here we will read about 4 different chapters, and I'd like to start it from a beautiful poetry by William Shakespeare. So the poetry is full fathom 5, thy father lies. Now, before getting into the poetry, we need to know a basic, very few detail about the sound in poetry. Now, there are various different genres of literature. Like we have essay, we have drama, we have poems, we have movie film, we have fiction, so on. We have different genre of literature. Among these genre, poetry is different from all the genre because of its musicality. Poetry is different from all the genre because of its musicality, because of the rhyme that poetry has, because of its sound significance. Poetry is the genre of literature among these all genre which plays with the sound, which have the rhyming scheme in it. Without the rhyming scheme, no poetry can be made. Now, these sounds are not just the element for the musicality in the poetry. These sounds also does carry some meaning in the poetry. Though there is not hard and fast rule written on the stone tablet about the rules of sound, but there are few rules of thumb. Now, today we are going to look beside this musicality, what is the meaning that is being contributed by the play of sound with the repetition of for here the repetition of vowel 5 like. So what is What are these sounds contributing to? We are going to look into that. But before that, let's understand something about the sound in poetry. Now, the pattern of sound are named something. If we have the repetition, of consonant sounds in the first letter of the word, we call it alliteration. Like log, log, lag, log, lag, log, lag. Here we have the repetition of consonant sound in the beginning of the word in the same line, right? So when we have this repetition of the first letter, the consonant sound of the words in the same line, we call it alliteration. So here we see F sound, first sound being repeated in the same line, right? So this is called the alliteration. Now, when you repeat the consonant sound in the middle of the word, we call it consonants, and the repetition of the vowel sounds is called the assonance. Here the alliteration is there. What we see is consonant sound is being repeated as the first letter of the word in a single line, right? This is contributing to the sound of the poetry. We see fa, full, fathom, five, thy, father, lie. So what we see here is a specific play of sound. Now, William Shakespeare, from this play of sound, what is he trying to say us? We are going to learn that in this poetry. Now, before that, let's know who was William Shakespeare. Exact date of his birth is not actually known, but if we see the date of being baptized, we find out that William Shakespeare was baptized on 26th April 1564, and he died on 23rd April 1616. Now, William Shakespeare died of a fever, and there are various different sayings, various different reports about his death. One of the reports says that he died at the age of 52. Yes. And how he died was he drank heavily with his friends, and that hard drinking resulted him into a fever. He had a fever because of that hard drinking, and now this fever killed Shakespeare. This is what one of the reports says. Whatever it be, Shakespeare is considered one of the greatest dramatists of all time. One of the greatest philosophers, Friedrich Nietzsche, have said that after the Greek tragedy, if any artist have created a great piece of art with the blend of real instincts and the rationality of human beings, then that is Shakespeare. That means Shakespeare is considered greatest artist by everyone, and he staged his plays in the Renaissance England during the two different periods, Elizabethan as well as the Jacobean period of England. He used to write tragedies, tragicomedies, and also comedies. His tragedies does have this quality of Greek tragedy in it. His tragic heroes do have this play of immorality and morality in them. So we don't need to understand all this. What we need to understand is he was the greatest dramatist of all time who created a tragedy, tragicomedy and also comedies. His contribution to the arena of drama theatre remains great and at the forefront. Now, getting down to our poetry, full fathom five, thy father lies. What we discover is this poetry comes from the one act play, The Tempest. And from this play, when this guy thinks his father is dead in the storm, Ariel, the spirit, sings a song to this prince, saying that, no, your father haven't died. The convention about death that you are holding on to is wrong. Whatever you are thinking about death is wrong. Your father hasn't died. Rather, he has transformed from one form to another form. He hasn't ended. Rather, he has started a new life and has turned into something more valuable than this feeble decaying body. So when one person is sitting and contemplating, lamenting upon the death of his father, someone comes, the spirit comes there, and this spirit now tells this, consoles, soothes this person, telling that, come on, your father haven't died. He have transformed into more valuable entities. You should not mourn this way. This is what the spirit says, consoling the chap who is lamenting, contemplating on the death, mourning on the death of his father. And this spirit is singing a song to soothe this lamenting, mourning people. He is trying to mellow down, he is trying to cushion the shock that this person is experiencing. And this singing to soothe the other person is our poetry. Now, our poetry goes, full fathom five, thy father lies, of his bones are corals made. Those are pearls that wear his eyes, nothing of him that doth fade. What is he saying is, this man, one guy, one chap is sitting and he thought that his father is drowned in the, has drowned in the sea. His father's ship wrecked in the storm and his father has been washed away. His father is no more in this world. Thinking that, this chap sits and starts lamenting, mourning, contemplating on his father's death. Now, this sad man is consoled. Now, Ariel comes there to soothe this man and sings this song. What he says first is, full fathom thy father lies. See, your father is lying full 5 fathom below the sea. He is under the ground, down there in the sea, your father lies. Of his bones are corals made. His bones have changed into corals. They have transformed into corals. Those are pearls that were his eyes. His eyes have turned into pearls, and nothing of him that doth fade. Nothing of him have faded away, vanished away. Nothing of him have been eradicated. Rather, he has transformed into his every part of his body have transformed into more beautiful things, like his bone is transformed into corals, eyes into pearls. So why are you crying, mister? Your father hasn't vanished into the thin air or in the soil. Rather, your father have transformed into the valuable entities. So why are you crying? He hasn't faded away. Look, those pearls are his eyes. Those corals are his bone. So why are you crying? Your father hasn't faded away. Your father hasn't vanished. So why are you crying? This is what Ariel says in the first 3 lines. What he says is, your father is lying down there. He hasn't faded away. He hasn't vanished away. His bones have transformed into corals and his eyes have transformed into pearls. And nothing of him have vanished. Nothing of him is lost in the thin air. Rather, everything is present there. So why are you mourning? This is what Ariel says. After that, what he says is, but doth suffer the sea change into something rich and strange? Sea nymphs hovering ring his knell, ding dong, hark, now I hear them, ding dong bell. What he says is, nothing of him that doth fade, but doth suffer the sea change into something rich and strange. Nothing of him has vanished. If man have died, he haven't vanished, rather he have changed into something. He have no one vanish, fades. They rather have to go under the changes. They have to go through the metamorphosis. Let's take an example. Once I was reading these Facebook posts and I found a beautiful story joke there. And that was two twins. Twins are talking inside mother's belly. In this sack, they are talking there. One of the twins says, hey, I don't believe in mother. Do you believe in mother? The other twin inside the belly says, yes, I believe in mother. The first twin says, how can you believe in mother? I cannot see the mother. How can I believe? This is the world. There is no world outside this. We all have is here. We need to eat through our stomach. We have the umbilical cord and we need to eat through our stomach. Breathing from the nostrils and eating from the mouth. That's just the imagination, fake. Come on, don't talk about that. One of the twin is saying inside the belly. And another twin says, no, it's not fake. You close your eyes and listen, you will hear the mother's heartbeat. And we will get out of this world and we will get a chance to embrace our mother. There we will breathe from the nostril and eat from our mouth. And the first twin says, hey, what a bullshit. He scratches his head and says, these are all the false things. But once they are born, now the sayings of the second twin comes true. What is happening here is, definitely these twins are dying for their world inside the abdomen. They are definitely dying for the world they were in. But they are into the new world. We need to die for the one world to get into the another world. Here also, they used to eat through the umbilical cord. There was no such a thing called breathing, right? But now when they come out into the world, the system changed. Now the umbilical cord is no more there. Now you eat with your mouth and you breathe through your nostrils. So in this way, they die for the abdominal world. They die for the womb and come into this world, right? So on. His father has not died. He has gone under the chains. Man only suffers the sea of chains, the past changes they suffer, but they never fade away. This is what he is saying. There is a beautiful saying in a book called Siddhartha, written by Hermann Hesse. In the last, at the last part of the story, what this central character Siddhartha does is, his friend Govinda comes there, and Govinda asks some questions, and Siddhartha, what he does is, he picks up a stone, kisses that, and tells his friend that, my friend Govinda, this stone is a stone at this moment of time. At some other moment of time, this stone may turn into a soil. Someday a plant may come out from this soil. Maybe some ant, animal, and someday God. So this stone is not just a stone, but for this moment it is a stone. So in the same way, we also do not actually fade away. We change, we transform from one form to another form. It is the metamorphosis, like the caterpillar going into the cocoon and coming out with the wings. This is the metamorphosis. This is not the end. Like the twins in the abdomen, what they are thinking? They are thinking that once we get out of this world, this is the end, this is our death. But is that the death? Yes, if you say that is the end of the world of womb, then that is the death, but that is not the real death. They have changed into something more valuable. The caterpillar, if you say the caterpillar has died, yes, the caterpillar has died. But the caterpillar, the same caterpillar which you said have died, is transformed, metamorphosed into a butterfly with the wings. So on, we say we die, we fade away, we are lost from this world. But we are not lost, rather we are changed into various different things. In this nature, everything goes through the chains. Like if we take an example of the water cycle, if we take the example of the river itself, we see this chains. Water, it is a glacier, ice, that ice melts, flows down, goes to the ocean, and this same water again becomes the vapor, cloud, and then that again falls down as the snow or the rain, right? So here what is happening is, water is dying, changing into a vapor. That is not the death, that is just the change. Vapor is changing again into water or ice. This is not the death, it is just the change. As we are also the combination of hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. These three molecules are available in the world, right? Available around in our surroundings. And see, these materials combined together, we are here. When these materials change their form, this form is no more there, but we are not lost. We are still there in some other form, in some other shape and size. So on. This chap is crying and the Ariel is saying, so on, your father haven't faded away. Your father hasn't died. Rather, your father has turned into something more valuable and something more longer lasting. Look at there. Your father is still down there in the ocean, and see those pearls and the corals? They are your father's. This is the sea of chains. This is the say the hard and fast rule is the truth is only the change which keeps on happening, and it's the same fate that your father went into. It is not the fading away of his body. Rather, his body has metamorphosed like the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. His body had changed into pearls and corals. And see, in the last line what he says is, seen him souring, ring his nail, seen him sourly ring his nail. Ding dong, hark now I hear them, ding dong. What is he saying? He is not saying Sinims are entertaining him, Apsaras are there, Menika and Sakuntala is there entertaining her. He is not saying that. What he is saying, I saw that interpretation in most of the writings, whatever I find in the internet related to plus 2, but that is not the case. Here, what is poet meaning is, here he is saying that this winged chariot of time, this death, we know this bell, the time is always constantly ringing. We are in this form for a certain period of time, and from this form we transform into some other form, and this time which is permanent with the changes is constantly with us. If we vouchsafe our ear, we can hear that bell. You also have to go under that change. I also have to go under that change. Everyone have to go under that change. You vouchsafe your ear and hear, yes, there the sound is there, ding dong bell. So one day you will also go under that change. This constant approach of death, this time overwhelming us with the permanence of the change in it, is what this ding dong bell is talking about. This is all that we are discussing today. Tomorrow we'll be discussing more about the poetry. Thank you, class.